always stated or mentioned in class, some of the subject it depends on which countries you are refer to, because macam if you refer to some accounting or financial management books from the US, they might categorize the category of financial ratio into four. If the book is from UK, they might category into five. So it depends. But the whole idea is each of the individual ratio is the same, kan? Regardless whether it has been categorized under four or five means tu. That's why you have to go through every single details of the individual ratio tu. Don't be panic lah if you uh, the book that you are referring to says ada four main categories, but your friend say ada five, and then you become panic. Don't be panic lah. You just apa ni, go look at the details of the discussion. So from the tutorial that I gave you yesterday, so you should spend some times lah to go to you will find that some of the ratio is very simple calculation, like current ratio, quick ratio, very simple calculation. For instance, current ratio kan, the amount of current asset divide by amount of current liability kan. Some of you might think that, or even primary school punya students pun boleh calculate by looking at the balance sheet. You just take whatever amount of your current asset divide by amount of current liability, and then you will get current ratio. Very simple, right? But doing the financial ratio analysis, it is not a matter of dividing the figures. It is more on what does the figure means to the company. Let's say if you dividing amount of current asset divide by amount of current liability, you get 2. What does the 2 means? How about if your companies get 2 current asset, your competitors in the industry get 5 or 6? What does it mean? Are you in a better position compared to your competitors, or are you in a worse position compared to your competitors? The meaning of the figure yang you get from the ratio is more important to the company, not the figure itself. So that's why when you are getting the ratio tu, what you need to know is what is actually the ratios try to tell you. If you get, let's say, if the ratios will be presenting in percentage, you get 45%. What does the 45% means to your company? Let's say if your company get 45% ratio and then the other company get 50. So if you compare between 45 and 50, are you in a better or better position from the competitor? That's why in the slides I did mention that some of the ratios, the bigger the number is the better. Some of the ratio, the smaller the number is the better. That's what you need to understand. Either the bigger number is the better for your company, or the smaller number is the better. So as far as the calculation is concerned, maybe lah, because from previous experience, some of the students, they don't want to do exercise on the ratio calculation tu, because to them, oh, it is very simple calculation. Amount of current asset divide by amount of current liability, then I get 2. Without realizing what does the 2 means to you, to the company. So that's why I said don't be too arrogant lah. Oh, it is simple calculation. I don't want to do it. Then, because in the exam, normally in the exam, they don't ask you to calculate. Even though if they will ask you to calculate, and then the question will ask you, what does the figure that you get from the calculation means to the company? If you get the figure 2, what does the 2 means? How to improve the situation? if your company's ratio is 2 and then your competitors is 10, how far are you from the competitors in term of your current ratio is concern. Dia benda-benda yang begitulah. So that's why don't take it easy lah. So especially when it comes to business relation, because when we are doing business relation, when we are valuing a business, we are actually measuring the business performance before we can decide how much the business worth, kan, in term of monetary punya value lah. Because remember, you are the whole exercise of business relation is you are advising the potential buyer on how much should they pay for the company. That's why, as I mentioned previously, some of the buyers, they don't really interested on what is the current value of the company. They are more interested on what is the future value of the company. Because once they buy the company, kan, they are hoping that the company will get or will generate profit in the future. What the company is earning now will become history to the new buyers. So what they are interested on is the future value. That's why in your assignment, the task for your assignment, we ask you to look at the intrinsic value of the company for the sale purposes. Even if for merger and acquisition pun, the potential buyer, the potential company who will merge with the company that we are valuing to is more interested to know the future value of the company, the investment value tu. They don't want to know the past or the current value, because the past or current ni will not be useful to them, because what they are more interested to know is the future. Is the company are willing to make profit if they buy the company, or if they merge with the company, or if they acquire the company, kan? Benda-benda begitu. So that's why at the starting point of this subject tu, we did mention about a few different types of value. Fair market value lah, apa-apa value lah, intrinsic value, investment value, semua bla bla tu. Because that is more crucial to the potential buyer, or the company that who wants to take over the company that we are valuing. So dia itu. So if you look at the tutorial tu, as I mentioned earlier, some of you may find, oh, it is nothing lah, no worry, we don't have to worry too much, just a simple calculation, quick ratio, kan. But you need to know lah how to calculate current ratio. What is the current ratio try to tell us? What is the implication of the number that we get from current ratio between 2 and 5, between 10 and 11, dia macam tu lah. And the quick ratio, how to calculate quick ratio? Quick ratio, by right, if you want to calculate quick ratio, is amount of current asset minus inventory divide by your current liability. That's what it mean by quick ratio. So you need you really need to know how to calculate the formula, how to calculate each of the individual ratio, especially profitability ratio. Because for activity ratio like quick current ratio too, it will give you a rough indication on the general general condition of the company's financial punya health. But for profitability ratio ni, it will tells the real performance of the company. So from the profitability ratio, we could know how much is the profit for the companies for the past years. Because normally, if we want to predict for the future, the future punya prediction tu will be based on current and past performance. So that's why in predicting the future profit for the company, we will look at the past and current performance. That's why when we are doing valuation for business ni, we have to look at least past 3 years performance to in order for us to predict for the future. As I mentioned, if the economic situation is not that good, so we may need to look at the longer term, maybe 5-6 years for the company's past performance. So the past performance will give us some indication lah on how the company's performance would be in the future. Sometimes pun even we have look at the past performance pun, sometimes our prediction for the future tu is still not that apa ni lah, not that accurate. So ada sometimes we predict that the company may produce 1 million profit for the every year for the next 5 years, and suddenly the reality the company can only produce 500,000. So if that is the case, the new buyer too will have problem lah, because originally when they buy the company based on the valuation, they would expect 1 million profit every year, but suddenly the realisticnya they can only get 500,000, so it could affect their performance lah. So that's why as a valuator, the person who the valuation for business valuation ni should be very careful in reaching the value tu. So before you report the value for the company in your valuation tu, you need to be very careful. You need to do a very detailed analysis on the past performance and for the future forecasting for the company. Because some of the valuator, they might be very good in analyzing the past performance, but they are not good in forecasting for the future. So you need to be good in both, in analyzing past performance and in forecasting for the future. As I mentioned earlier, what the new buyer is more interested to know is the future of the company, not the past. Fast yang the past tu is as a measure saja for us to predict or to forecast for the future. So for the tutorial tu, it is nothing lah, but even though if you think that the tutorial is nothing, but you still need to do just to recall your memory or your knowledge on the ratios punya topic. And then as promised, I have uploaded notes or slides on financial ratio. That's the only that I can recover from now, because most of the slide was saved in my PC at office. So but somehow when I try to find from my a few pen drive yang I have at home ni, I managed to find that slide lah. So for the time being ni, you may refer to the slides lah. So to just to recall back your memory on financial ratio ni, because I do understand that you have learned this ratio ni 2 years ago, right? So most of you might have forgotten the topic. So hopefully it could help you lah to recall back your memory on your knowledge on financial ratio ni. So as far as yang Loba is concerned tu, I did put some questions on discount for lack of control, discount for lack of marketability. I have some notes that I have prepared for you on Loba and Loba ni. I prepare in words, so I will upload the notes on discount for lack of control and lack of marketability soon lah. When I have uploaded the notes, I will inform you guys. So please spend your time, do the tutorial. So if you have any problems or any difficulties in doing the tutorial questions too, you may ask me lah. we will go through, because today I don't think that most of you have done the tutorial question, because I just uploaded the question yesterday kan. You are also busy with other subject with your assignment, because I was told that some of the group has already started to do your business relation assignment kan. For the past few nights, some of the group has already arranged meeting to discuss about the assignment. So never mind, just take your time, but please ensure that you do lah the tutorial. If you have any questions on the tutorial question, you may ask me lah. Maybe either you can ask in our WhatsApp group, or you can uh, PM me, and then we can discuss about the potential answers for the tutorial. But please bear in mind lah, as I mentioned earlier kan, for those who just joined this session, as I mentioned earlier, what is more important about the ratio is not on how to calculate. How to calculate is how to calculate may look simple to you guys. What is more important is what is the implication of the figure that you get from the calculation tu. Let's say for as I give example just now lah, for current ratio, if you calculate the current ratio, then you get 5. What is important to you guys is what does the 5 means to the company. 5 means that the company are doing okay, or the company is just doing okay, or the company is doing very okay ke. So what does the number 5 means is more important to us. When we, especially when we compare our figure with our competitors in the industry. Sometimes maybe for your company, you will get current ratio 5, but maybe in the industries, there are companies with bigger figure, 15, 10. So what does it mean? If you compare your performance, your ratio with the other companies which have much higher figure, what is your performance compared to them? So that's why when we are doing the ratios too, it is very important for us to compare between our figure with the other competitors within the industries. Some companies, they will compare their company's ratio with average in the industries and with the bigger firm within the industry to know where are we in the industries. So that's why they will do the after they have calculate the all individual ratios, they will do horizontal and vertical analysis. They will compare their own performance for the past different years, and then they will compare their performance with their competitors within the same industries. So that's why we said vertical and horizontal analysis. We don't want to be short sendiri lah. If you only compare the performance for your own company for the past few years, you may find that you are doing very good, right? But when you compare with other companies, then you discover that actually we are not doing okay. There are a few companies which are better than us. So that's why we need to compare between our performance and our competitors in the industries. Same with your studies lah. Let's say if your PNGK is 3.6, kan? 3.6, maybe if you compare your PNGK between your previous semesters, the current semester 3.6 is the best for you. But when you compare with your other coursemate, maybe some of your coursemate, your friends have higher PNGK, maybe 3.9. So if you compare your 3.6 and your friends 3.9, you are far left behind your friends. Dia macam tu lah. That's same concept will apply to the company. So that's why it is very important for us when we have calculate the ratio, we desperately need to compare between our ratios and our competitors in the industry. Especially if we are operating in a big industry. Big industry meaning that there are a few hundred other firms operating within the same industry, like estate agent kan. Estate agent, there are quite a number of estate agent operating in the industry. So when we are comparing our performance, we need to compare between our estate agent dengan other estate agents within the same industry. Then only we would know how is our performance. Because when it comes to business relation, you really need to be very careful. We don't want uh, uh, to make any mistake when we are valuing a company, because the figure or the value that we are about to report in our valuation too will determine the future of the new buyer for the company tu. Most of the company, when they buy a new company ni, they would expect the company that they will buy to will make a profit lah, because no other none of the business operating without expecting to generate profit. So because when the company invest their money in any of the company, or when any company buy a company, of course lah, they would target for high profit. Macam kita invest lah. When we invest our money, no matter whether in a current account ke, or any type of investment opportunities, we would expect that the money that we invest could generate income, right? That's why normally some people, when they are expecting to generate a faster profit ni, they will invest in share, because share, by investing in shares ni, you can become instant millionaire, but you can also become instant fleece punya person lah, if you do the trick on how to invest in shares. So by looking at definition of investment ni, investment is you are investing some money now with the hope that you could generate income in the future. Itu general a definition of investment. So same with the company. When an established company merge or take over or buy a new company, they are hoping that the new company too could bring more profit to their company. So that's why before they decide whether or not to buy the company, they will ask us to value the company. So as a valuator, it is our responsibility that we should value the company accordingly. So meaning that when you are collecting and analyzing data on the companies that you are valuing to, you must make sure that the data is accurate, the reliable data lah on the company. Dia macam like when we value residential unit lah, we must make sure that the comparison, all the data that we are going to use before reaching the value to is accurate data, reliable data, most up to date data. So because the data that you gather, that you collect, that you analyze to value the company to will have impact on the final value nanti. Because as as we repeatedly saying that in valuing a business, a company, it is more complicated, because it involves analyzing past data and forecasting for the future. Because forecasting the future ni is a bit risky, because you are forecasting for the things that you are not sure is it really to happen in the future, kan? So when you are do the forecasting tu, it will be based on the past data. You will analyze past data in order to forecast for the future. That's why some of you, if you careless when you analyze the past data tu, you might get a wrong forecasting for the future. So because it always happen in the industry. So when we forecast something, we forecast that the company will make profit, and then suddenly uh, the company are making loss instead of profit. So if it is happen, uh, your client ask you to value the company, might sue you because you give them a wrong value, which might affect their company's performance. So that's why it's not everybody are brave enough to take this valuation, business valuation task ni in industries. So far only most experienced valuer je yang brave enough to take uh, business valuation course. One of them is Mr. Elwin. Uh, because I did research on business valuation with a group of lecturers from UTM. So in the research too, we interviewed Mr. Elwin as one of the expert in business valuation. So when we interview him, he did highlighted the problems that he faced while doing the business valuation. So one of the main problem is data lah. Because he did mention that you really need to be very careful when you analyze past data and when you forecast for the future, because you must have a strong justification, especially about the future punya forecast tu. You must have strong justification on why you forecast for the future tu macam tu lah. So very challenging task. It's not as simple as you are doing a real estate valuation. Because he said doing real estate valuation, even though some people may think that doing a special property valuation is very tough, right? But business valuation is more tougher than special properties. But it involves different types of asset, tangible, intangible. So it depends on the size of the company. So try to do the exercise on a ratio analysis. So if you want to discuss about the answer of your tutorial tu, you may contact me lah. But as far as this tutorial is concerned, I want you to try first. Try to do all the ratio first. If you have any problem, then we can discuss later. On a few simple essay questions on this discount for lack of control and marketability too, you can try to find the answer from internet lah, or from notes or from textbook. Then as I mentioned earlier, uh, I have prepared some notes for you guys on log and lomnis, which I will upload later in the Spectrum. So once the notes is ready to be uploaded ni, I will inform you later. So maybe you can go through the notes, and then maybe by going through to the notes, so you will get a clearer pictures on uh, the log and the lom ni. Because as we go through during the lecture on Monday ni, there are no certain or specific method or approach on how to determine the rate for the log and the lom ni. And as we go through during the lecture ni, most of the log and the lom rate ni will be determined based on court cases. But we have been given the range. Normally for the log ni, range there between 15 to 40. For the lom, between 20 to 50. So but there is a big question on between 20 to 50 for lack of marketability. What figure should you use? 20, 25, 30, 35? So in order to decide whether to use 20, 25, you need to refer to court cases. And then you must have a strong justification to defend whatever figure that you are going to use for the companies. If you are using 20% for the lom, 15% for the log, so you must have reason, evidence. Why 15? Why 20? You cannot just pick the figure out from nowhere without having evidence or justification to defend your figure lah. Because valuation is always about science and arts. Science is on the calculation part. Arts is more on your assumption. So when you do assumption on certain aspect of valuation, you must have reason, justification to defend your assumption tu. Even when you are doing a simple residential properties valuation pun, there is always assumption to support your value tu. You assume that this is blah 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 blah. So you must have strong justification lah to support your assumption. Same with business valuation. So because for LOM and block ni, there is no specific figure. They will only give a range between 15 to 40, between 20 to 50. So it is entirely up to you to decide 20 or 50. If you say 50, why? So you need to get data to support your. That's why, as I said, you need to be well experienced valuer before you can do business valuation case. Because for property valuation, it is very simple because it only involves that property, tangible asset. But for business ni, when it comes to intangible itself, we have a few type of intangible. We have patent, goodwill, copyright, semua benda-benda tu. So there is a specific approach or method on how to value intangible and how to value tangible. So as far as tangible asset is concerned, we can use any one of the three approaches: market approaches, income approaches, and asset approaches. So these approaches ni we will go through later on lah. And then when Dr. Zai take over this subject from week 8, she will go through with your guys on how to value a different type of company. But the example that she may use during the session will be very simple company lah. We don't want to take a complicated company because you are still at the early stage of learning about business valuation, right? So we will only take a simple company. So if you look at the current cost info, there are about 3 or 4 weeks that you will do with Dr. Zai on a sample of valuation for different type of companies. Hopefully by end of this subject, you get sufficient knowledge lah on business valuation ni. Even though we would not expect you to do business valuation lah after completing the subject, but somehow it will give you some basic knowledge, basic information on business valuation. Because as it is in the industry ni pun, business valuation ni is no one profession. Because as I mentioned kan, currently accountant is also doing business valuation, lawyers is also doing business valuation. Now valuers try to join the market, try to do the business valuation. So as it is now, business valuation is nobody profession. Anybody has the qualification can claim that they are qualified. They can do the business valuation. Provided you need to prove lah that you have the basic knowledge. You have the basic expertise on how to do the business valuation. Then it will depend on the client lah, whether to hire you or whether to hire accountant or whether to hire lawyers to do the business valuation for their behalf. Because some clients may trust accountant as far as business valuation is concerned. But some client may trust a valuer because valuer is a valuer kan. By right, valuer should be uh, more expert to do valuation. It depends. Some clients they would prefer accountant to do the business valuation for them. But some client they would uh, trust a valuer to do. So it is entirely up to the client. But as it is now, we are competing with the lawyers and the accountant for business relation cases ni. Like Mr. Elvin pun so far he only got a few cases for business relation. And then he employ an accountant to join his team for business valuation. So Kong and Jaafar they has business valuation unit which combine an accountant and a valuer. So when they have a business relation cases, the business relation team ni which comprise an accountant and valuer will work together to do the business relation. So on the accounting part, the financial management part, the accountant will do. But for tangible asset, the valuer will do. And then later they will merge the figure, come out with the final value for the company. By right, it is the best way lah to do business relation. So for the accounting part, you ask accountant to do it. For the tangible asset part, we as a valuer will do it. So at the end of the exercise, we will meet, discuss, and then we will combine lah the value. So kan, I guess that most of you have looked at the tutorial question kan that I have uploaded yesterday morning. Those who haven't looked at the tutorial yet tu, this is the tutorial question lah. We just I just share the. Student ni sedih kadang nak buka spektrum pun tak sempat, sibuk, tak ada masa nak buka spektrum, nak tengok tutorial question. So for the sake of those yang very busy, tak ada masa nak look at the tutorial question in the spectrum tu, so we share lah the the question now kan. So this is the
Hello.
okay. Sorry, the laptop suddenly restart. Can you hear? Can you guys hear me?
Can. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'm just about to share the tutorial questions just now before the laptop restart. Sekejap. For the sake of those yang very busy, yang don't have time to go through at the spectrum, so we just show you lah the questions. To save your time, maybe it is best if you do it in group. So in a group of 4 or 5, maybe one of the group members do activity ratios, the other do profitability ratios. Then you can merge and share your answer and then discuss. So can you guys see the words ni, the question ni? Boleh nampak tak?
Boleh.
Belum lagi. Okay. Lemah je, tak breakfast lagi ke apa? Boleh. Ke ngantuk sejuk. So this and balance sheet lah. So as I mentioned earlier, by right it has to be the same companies punya income statement and balance sheet. But it doesn't matter lah. The main purpose of this tutorial is for you guys to calculate the all different type of ratio. So you may use the figures, try to calculate or compute all the different type of ratios. So this is the task lah, the question. Using the above income statement, compute financial ratio analysis. So you may need to perform the horizontal and vertical analysis lah. And then the second question, prepare common size analysis. So common size analysis is as what we have done on Monday. So go through the income statement and balance sheet and then do the horizontal and vertical. Horizontal is analysis whereby you look at the figure in monetary form. Vertical is you convert the monetary value into percentage. So to look at whether the company has do some improvement or what in terms of the performance of the company as far as balance sheet and income statement is concerned.
Sir,
Yeah.
I'm sure here. I have one question regarding question number 2. Because the CSA, we need to use different year to compare, right? But
Yeah.
there is only 1 year provided here.
Then what does it mean? You need to find your own company's punya financial statement, then do lah the horizontal, the CSA tu. You cannot rely on the lectures lah to give you every single details for the tutorial. So because now you are doing your assignment, right? Okay, you have already started doing your assignment, and for your assignment tu you need to find a business financial statement for the company that you have chosen to do, right? So you just use that company's punya financial statement to try to prepare CSA ni.
Okay. But sir, what if this question come out in exam, then given only 1 year, we also need to do our find our own financial statement.
Come on lah, Susan. If this question come out in your final exam, of course lah, I will give you at least 2 years punya data.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I'm not that
Understood.
crazy to ask you to analyze for a few years and then I only give you 1 year. Kan? This one is because as far as the tutorial is concerned, you need to put some effort as well to do the tutorial. You cannot just wait the lectures to give you everything and then you just do the calculation, simple calculation saja. So baguslah. Your question is very good question, meaning that you know what is needed in order to prepare the CSA kan. It shows that you are alert. It's okay lah. Kan, tapi as far as this apa ni, or if you lah at least 2-3 years punya financial statement for so that you can easily do the question number 2 ni. But if you can get your own apa ni, which is much better lah. Maybe you can use the statement that you are looking for your assignment tu, you guna yang itu pun tak apa untuk buat CSA ni, because the tutorial doesn't has to be completed today. Maybe you can do it later, but you need to do it lah, whether now or later,
Okay,
just
thank you,
to
sir.
make okay, just to make sure that you are familiar with the apa ni. So the question number 3, explain main types of ratios. Again, some of you may give 4 main types, some of you maybe 5 main types, depends on which book, or what is your source of information. So it doesn't matter as long as you explain the correct type of ratio. So define the log, define the log. Briefly explain how log rate is determined. Ini yang the second one ni should be delom lah. Mana boleh dua-dua delom log. So nanti betul ke lah. The first one is log, the second one is delom. Briefly explain normalization of financial statement. Very simple questions saja. As far as your tutorial is concerned, I'm not going to give you too many questions because you are also busy with any other subject. So this is to prepare you with some basic knowledge on business relations saja. So you may want to spend time later to try to do all these simple tutorial questions. So if you think that later we need to discuss the potential answer, we may discuss, maybe we may use half an hour later in our next session to discuss about the potential answer.
Sir Zhu,
Yeah.
for the first question, financial ratio analysis, we need to use the picture above. Is it?
Originally, the reason why I give you the example of financial statement, for those yang for those who don't have any financial statement to be used as your apa ni, as your reference, you may use the one that I uploaded in the tutorial questions lah. But again kan, some of you ask me just now because you are aware that these two different statements is from two different company. How could we so but if you understand the basic concept of ratio is to get data from financial statements, kan? So it doesn't matter lah whether it is from two different companies kan, as long as you can get data, you can calculate kan. But for the real case business valuation, the both statements must come from the same company lah. But as I explained earlier, because when I preparing this tutorial question ni, I don't have much time because last week tu banyak meeting, banyak apa. So I just pick up these two financial statements to be used as example for you guys for your tutorial tu kan. Betul lah tu, it is from two different company, but what is important is what data that you can get from this financial statement. Even if it is from the same company, if you do not know how to get the data, where to get the data from to calculate different type of ratios, it still doesn't help you kan. So like say for instance Brian, if you have real financial statement from the company that you are studying for your assignment, you may use that statement. What is important for this tutorial is the tutorial wants you to calculate all different type of ratio. Whether you want to use the statement that I give you in the tutorial, or you want to use your own financial statement from the company that you have search for, it doesn't matter. What is important is the intention is for you to do financial ratio analysis, just to make sure that you know how to calculate the different type of ratio, you know the meaning of the financial ratio, itu je. But for those kan who are very busy, dia tak ada statement yang lain, you may use this statement lah in order to do the ratio. But for Susan punya questions tadi, yes lah, because in order for you to do CSA ni, you need at least two years punya financial statements. Because normally for CSA, we will compare between different years. But if you are creative enough, you may use 1 year punya statement. Because the whole exercise is CSA is horizontal analysis, is you are analyzing each details in monetary form. But for vertical, you convert into percentage kan. So if you only have 1 year punya statement, doing horizontal and vertical for that particular year saja. You don't compare between different years. It is also CSA. But because dia nak tengok macam mana you faham kalau horizontal tu apa. Horizontal you do analysis for the company in money. 20,000, 30,000. So for vertical you convert the 20,000 into percentage. Macam kan kalau you look at the CSA tu, you do CSA on balance sheet, so you are analyzing your current asset, current liability semua tu. So when you report or when you do analysis in monetary, you will record, okay, your current asset is 20,000, your current liability is 10,000. So when you present percentage, so how much is your current asset over the total of your asset. That's why you convert into percentage, betul? The question whether you have 1 year or 2 years tu just for you to compare between different years punya performance, itu saja. Patutnya boleh juga Susan, tapi tak apalah. I really understand yang Susan punya concern tu. Never mind, we will give you a different years punya itu for you to do the CSA punya tu. Susan ni dia kelas rakyat yang bertanggungjawab. Dia tahu anak-anak buah dia nanti tak faham. That's why dia tanya. Saya faham Susan, tak apa, tak marah. It's good to have a leader like that. Dia very dia taking care of dia punya anak-anak buah. Okay, tak apa, nanti yang Susan punya itu pun nanti I will upload the new one lah for 2 different years punya for you to do the third question CSA tu. Ataupun if any of you tak nak buat yang sekarang ni because of the statement is from 2 different companies, I will upload another one lah from the same company kan. Just to make sure all of you satisfied. Nanti cakap tak boleh buat pula pasal statement from 2 different company. What I want you to get is the intention of this exercise. The intention is for you to know how to calculate the ratio. Sebenarnya kalau saya lah, I couldn't be bothered whether the statement comes from 2 different company or not. Because for me, as far as I'm concerned, is I can use that information to calculate the ratios. Itu saja. And then I know what is the meaning of the ratios. Tapi tak apalah, because maksudnya you only very teliti, you tahu apa benda ni, meaning that you go through the questions, which is also good. Okay, Susan, try to do the question later lah, because I need to leave now, because I need to join the workshop, because the workshop is conducted by TNC HEP, Prof Aziz. So I don't want to be one of the latecomers lah, macam you guys selalu lambat masuk lecture kan. I want to be among the early punya person lah who join the session, because I want to apa ni lah kan, nanti kalau student datang lambat kita marah, kita sendiri pun datang lambat kusu-kusu. So I don't want to be like that. Lead by example. If I don't like my students to be late for my lecture, I'm also have to make sure that I won't be late for the courses that I attended. Itulah, Susan dah ada harga dah. Baru tanya satu soalan dah ada harga Susan. Brian tak ada harga, Brian. Brian tak ada harga sangat. Susan dah harga. So, dia ketua kelas, dia kena banyak ada harga. Okay lah. See you on next Monday. next Monday is our last week before we go for our semester break, right? Next week is week 5, week 6 tu your semester break, yang week yang kita ada seminar nanti tu, online seminar tu, yang which is compulsory for all you guys. Seminar in real estate. So, yang itulah. So, tak apa, try to do it. Susan pun buat. Kalau if you want to have my input for your tutorial question ni, or if you have any questions on your tutorial question ni, you can WhatsApp lah. Then we can go through.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Because don't forget your attendance, because I need to attend the course now. It's already 10 o'clock. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.